we could see through all the data, the National Hurricane Centre, the local media. You know, we had quite a good idea of where it was and the direction it was heading. And, you know, we had options where we were if we felt that actually, you know, this is just going to be too risky. We had vehicles, we fueled them. We could have gone north or south.
So you were significantly inland from the bay, from the port, from Tampa Bay, essentially. What kind of building were you in? I see you're currently in a building that appears to have no roof. What kind of building were you in overnight? Oh, here we go.
Yeah, that is the back of the pool. That's one of those lanais. But we're in
I see. It's like a pullover roof from the pool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those big. As you can see in the resort, there's lots of them.
Very nice.
So we're in a holiday rental.
Yeah.
We've rented and stayed in this particular area for probably 10 years. So we know the area pretty well. We're 8 miles from main Disney in an area called Davenport. So, yeah, we're...
And when you said you had options, you obviously didn't need them, which is great. But were those options to leave, or did you have higher ground or taller buildings that you could have got into if the water did start to rise?
No, we are significantly above sea level in the centre here, and this is quite a hilly. Although Florida is mainly flat, in theory it's relatively hilly. We're like 80 feet above sea level. You know, as you drive down the Highway 27, it's ups and downs. We're on the crown of a hill. You know, there's a lot of water. Water in Florida is absolutely everywhere. We're next to 2 major lakes. Our property is probably 8 meters higher than the lake. And the lake yesterday, actually, we were looking at it, was probably 2 meters low on its water. You could see it all around the shoreline, where I don't know if this area's just had a long period of summer and not a lot of water, but it's full up today. So you know, we had a lot of rain.
It's bound to be. It's bound to be full up today. Can you swim in that lake or only in your pool?
I would be very cautious of swimming in any lakes in Florida due to the wildlife that's out here. So it's more a picturesque lake than it is a bathing lake.
Crocodiles.
Yeah.
Do you check
particularly after the storms?
Yeah, I've seen them. I've seen the people climbing over people's garden fences and coming in through the garage, and my God.
Yeah.
It still looks very turbulent behind you in terms of the light in the sky and the blusteriness. Is it still quite blowy?
No, there's very little wind now. I watched the last weather forecast. At about 8 o'clock this morning, 7 o'clock this morning, we had winds sustaining around 20, 25 miles an hour. Now we're probably down into the mid-teens, and it's expected to be 85 degrees this afternoon.
Oh, wow.
It's almost like the hurricane does draw the energy off land. The dew point is down into the 60s, the temperature's up into the 80s. And to be honest, we're pretty unscathed. There's minor damage to some of these pool covers. I've been I just checked the house early this morning. There's trees down in the street. The bins have blown around, but you know, we monitored this, Sheila, all the way. We weren't making a reckless decision.
No, I can tell. Yeah.
Ignorance. You know, we'd already identified in our house. There's 2 ground floor rooms. There's like a games room with a pool table and stuff in. There was no windows to that. It only went onto the garage. We parked the car right against the garage door. We took in dry foods, water, torches, blankets. So we had everything we needed. And as a family and our friends traveling, we'd made the decision. We monitored it to the point where we felt, do we need to leave? And all of the data was saying, by the time the storm got this far inland, we were looking at mid-50s gusting into the 80s. So, you know, it's nothing that we haven't experienced on multiple occasions in the UK. The only alarming thing, to be brutally honest, was we hadn't considered actually pre-hurricane. When that weather comes ashore, it actually triggers hurricanes. So we had quite a bit of thunder and lightning for 2 or 3 hours. And then all of the media is so well tied into the emergency systems out here. Our phones were buzzing like the test we had in the UK last year. We'd all got into the lounge. We had a movie on. We'd sorted all our food out, and the TV changed to a hurricane warning, and all the information was coming up. Tornado warnings, what counties, what speed, what direction. You know, saying to people, if you are in this particular area, you should seek shelter.
So you could, that sounds fantastic. You could genuinely read events and then make an informed decision.
it was live data as much as it can be live, I'm assuming, from the authorities out here. There's so much information available now on the different news channels. They're asking people to not travel if absolutely not necessary. Keep the roads open for first responders. Look out for each other. Check on your neighbours. That kind of stuff.
I'll bet that first cup of tea this morning tasted good.
We had that kettle on most of the night. So you know, I think between us, we got our heads down for 2 or 3 hours here and there.
Yeah.
I've got my godsons travelling with us. One of our godsons particularly doesn't like really bad weather and thunder and lightning. He's severely autistic.
You want to reassure him,
you know, he had his headphones on in his games and everything, and we all sat together. And yeah, the data was all saying to us, yes, it's coming ashore. Yes, it's going to be sustained winds for 6 to 8 hours. And heavy rain. And they're showing here in this actual county, areas had 11 inches of rainfall in overnight, which is significant water.
Did any of the people who'd left Tampa Bay, the coastal area, come to areas like the one you're in?
Well, we were made aware at the airport when we actually came in that there was so many cancellations. There were cars available. A lot of hotels were made available because a lot of people had cancelled and hadn't travelled. So I'm sure that would have happened. However, we've only been here 36 hours.
Right.
You know, we reached out via a couple of social media groups and met another family here, which was staying, 100 metres away. We met them for lunch yesterday. We checked they had torches. We packed first aid kits, torches, the stuff we would need if we had a power outage overnight. And a lot of people are talking to each other. I've reached out via social media today to check, anybody need any assistance local to us? Everybody got what you need.
So you're not quite a survivalist, but you're getting there, Paul, by the sounds of it.
I spent my career in the British Fire Service, and so
you know how to be prepared. Yeah.
We got big, strong vehicles, and we hired the cars. We filled them up with fuel. We bought plenty of water and food. I've got friends living an hour south. One of my ex-officers that I worked with lives in the South Carolinas. We had their addresses, and if we had decided in the early evening last night that actually it's getting stronger and it's going to be a category 3,
you could have gone.
Then we would have gone. But we were very aware from all the data, we're talking category 1 or even as low as tropical storm. So when you're facing 50, 60, 80 mile an hour winds, everyone that lives in the United Kingdom's been through that in the last so that's not, I would say the American build quality, the buildings, they're all timber framed, they're all, the roofing is not what we have in the UK. So if something, you probably are a little bit more exposed in regards to the buildings. But a lot of people I spoke to at the airport that were travelling and actually staying in places like Universal and Disney were staying in big concrete hotels. And reading some of the groups this morning, Universal moved the hotel guests to a basement in the early hours of the morning for a couple of hours. That's when probably we could hear it as clear as anything. And
how loud did it get? You talked about your godson having headphones on. What was the sort of ambience like at its height for you? Because you obviously stayed awake.
It was pretty loud. Because the air is ripping through all of the trees, and the room that I'm particularly staying in this house is directly behind this, what they call a lanai. It's like a netting system over in the air whipping through that almost made like a real strong whistling noise as it was going through the mesh. And we had a couple of loud bangs during the night several times. I just checked the front door, checked the back door. We covered every window. We closed all the blinds, pulled all the curtains, all the cushions we'd taken indoors we'd put up against the glass in the inside. We told all the kids, etc., no one go near the windows tonight, stay in the rooms that we're in. And then, if we made that decision that actually this is getting really bumpy, we had a plan as a family. Everybody had torches in the bedrooms if the power went out, and we were all going to congregate in one of the ground floor, the more cells of room.
Yes.
And ride it out, because all the data clearly said heavy storm building 10, 11, but really being significant 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock through to say 6 a.m. So you're talking 6 or 8 hours of prolonged 60, 70 mile an hour wind.
Wow. No wonder you didn't get much sleep. Anyway, listen, Paul, it's been a pleasure to talk to you, and you're definitely coming on holiday with me next time there's a hurricane, okay? You sound
as long as you pick somewhere nice.
I will, and there'll be a pool, and you sound like my kind of guy when it comes to danger. Thank you very much indeed, Paul.